the rarest Pokemon you could think of. Like find a Mewtwo in the wild. Like you can't. Chargers fans just don't exist. Like they're not real.
You wanna move on to the Bengals?
Yeah. So on paper, probably the best team in the division. We'll start with the Vegas odds. We got over under 9.5. Playoffs minus 150. So pretty good team. Winning the division at plus 240. AFC champs at plus 1100. Super Bowl champs at plus 2000. None of these bets jump out to me. Like we'll get into the team here in a second, but like just looking at these odds, I would never make a bet on any of these. But if I had to, I'd probably just take division because you're getting 2.5 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that we have to take every bet that we've said today. So, like, if we had to take one on this in a vacuum, win division. But, like, I don't think you're getting that good of value on anything here. And I don't love him as an AFC champ or Super Bowl winner this year. I really don't.
No. But, okay, so when you look at the team, I think Joe Burrow is far and away the second best quarterback in the league. I think it's Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. If you're going tiers, I think Mahomes is top tier. Burrow is not top tier, but just a little bit below top tier. Then I think there's a pretty steep drop off, and I think everybody else falls well into whatever tier is under Joe Burrow. That's not quite Patrick Mahomes. I would throw Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, all those guys in the tier below Joe Burrow. I think he's far and away the second best quarterback in the league, along with one of the most stout wide receiver rooms in the entire league. I love the kid Chase Brown they drafted out of Illinois. Joe Mixon's been a stud for him for a long time. Their offensive line has gotten better these last couple of years. I mean, it's not great, but when you have a guy like Joe Burrow that knows how to distribute the ball, get rid of it quick, it's not the biggest deal, and they've always been able to run the ball outside of their offensive line. You look at their defensive side of the ball, I love Chidobe Awuzie. He's one of my favorite players whenever Dallas drafted him. I hated to see him leave, but he's one of those guys that's like, you don't pay a guy like that, but I'm glad to see him thriving after hitting the open market. Cam Taylor-Britt's not bad. And then you look at their defensive line. I mean, Hendrickson's an absolute stud. Like, I think he might be the most, like, not, I wouldn't say disrespected, but like the most from a media perspective, like the most forgotten about like impact player in the league. Like that dude is an absolute game wrecker.
Yeah, I mean he's a little one dimensional, but like if it's getting after the passer, that doesn't really matter. You know?
Yeah.
So with the roster, I mean, I do have some questions in the running back room. Like I like Chase Brown, but I don't think he was flawless as a prospect either. I have a lot of questions about his creativity as a runner. I think he's very kind of tunnel vision. Yeah. Like, I mean, where you got him, it's fine. But, like, I don't know. Travion Williams is a big question mark at this point. Chris Evans, I mean, he's a nice scat back, but he hasn't proven a lot in the league. And Joe Mixon is really all you got at running back potentially.
And doesn't Joe Mixon have some stuff going on to where he might not play this year?
I don't know. I don't know whatever happened. He has off-field stuff that popped up this offseason. I don't know what's
I never heard anything about it, though. I heard it initially
kind of disappeared pretty quick. But so I do have some questions with the running back room, especially in a running offense that has not really been a standard in the NFL. Like they've gotten by as a rushing offense. Yeah. You know, they don't excel at it.
Well, Joe Mixon very quietly would have like 1,300 yards every year, and it's like, oh, the Bengals run the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he had 1,400 yards last year, 980 rushing, but like he only averaged 3.9 yards a carry rushing. Like, you know, it's like the efficiency running wasn't there, and they were like the number 13 success rate running the football, number 17 EPA per rush. Like they were not the standard. You know, it's not when your passing offense is this good, you should be probably be doing better than that as a rushing offense. offense.
Maybe, but when their passing offense is that good, when you're running the ball, most people know you're running the ball because your passing offense is that good. Like,
yeah.
Why would you want to take the ball
not,
out of Joe? Like, you're not running the ball unless the defense knows you're running the ball because Joe Burrow is that good, Jamar Chase is that good, Tee Higgins is that good, Tyler Boyd's that good that most of the time when you're running the ball as a Bengals team, everybody knows you're running the ball.
Yeah. My point is, I don't know that they're an offense that says we need 3 yards, we're getting 3 yards on the ground. I don't know if they can confidently say that.
But if they need 3 yards, you have Joe Burrow, Tee Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase.
Oh, you do. But that's not my point.
Yeah. No, I got you. I'm just saying, like, they don't.
Ultimately,
like,
it's a passing league.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is the best wide receiver room in the NFL. When you go 3 deep like this, it's layers of depth. Like even though the guys they have behind those 3 are like Charlie Jones, who was a 4th-round pick, and Andre Yoshivas out of Princeton, who was a 6th-round pick, and Trent Irwin, Trent Taylor. Like, you have one injury, like Jamar Chase goes down, you still have Tee Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Like, you know, it's not like you're jumping that guy becomes your number one.
Tyler Boyd's a number 2 wide receiver on most teams. Tee Higgins is a number 1 wide receiver on most teams. And then you still have Jamar Chase.
Yeah, it's just layers caked into there. It's so disgusting.
Like, if you compare number 2 wide receivers in the league, is how big is the gap between Tee Higgins and the next number 2 wide receiver? Like, it's massive in my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty damn big.
Like, that dude could be the number 1 wide receiver on. I'm just off the top of my head, 23 teams.
Yeah, like
I think he's a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, like, I mean, what, Chris Godwin maybe?
Not even close.
Is the next best? Yeah, he's probably one of the next best. Like, I mean, Darnell Mooney is one of the better number 2s in the league, and he's still not like.
Yeah, Michael Gallup kind of had a push for it for a little bit. Well, okay, so you have CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks now, so it's like.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks is probably up there, but like still, it's Tee Higgins' way.
Yeah, I would rather have Tee Higgins and whoever you consider Dallas's number 2.
Devonta Smith might be it. Devonta Smith's probably got the best case, I think.
Yeah, he's up there, but I mean, we're talking about 4 teams.
Yeah,
that even have an argument.
Yeah, like it's not close. He's the best one in the league.
Like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but really?
Tight end, I'm really since he's so weird with their tight ends, they just want to plug and play someone and like.
But CJ Uzomah was so good for him, like in so many big time moments.
He was good in a few big time moments. His actual season numbers weren't that.
I mean, I don't watch Cincy week in and week out, but I felt like he made a bunch of big time plays and big time games.
He did.
I was curious about that departure, but it's Joe Burrow. I mean,
yeah. Joe Burrow, I mean, like last year, they just plugged it. They plugged Hayden Hurst in, and he was fine. But what's kind of weird is like the guys that they've gotten in the past were more of they were blockers, right? They're capable blocking tight ends. Irv Smith is not that. Irv Smith is just not that. Irv Smith is like 230 pounds. So I'm really interested to see what they do. Because Irv Smith has been a lot more hype in the league than he has actually been actual results. Like he had 185 yards last year, and their backup Tanner Hudson had 130, and they got Devin Asiasi and Drew Sample, who's been with the Bengals for 5 years now. But so there's not much proven production here, but when you got these 3 receivers plus Joe Mixon, who's a threat out of the backfield, I don't know if it really matters.
I don't know the odds, but if you're making me put a bet on this team, and like I said, I'm taking the division, but outside of that, I might take Joe Burrow to win MVP.
I think that could make sense.
I mean, he's probably a top 3 favorite, but I mean,
they are going to.
I probably like that.
They're going to attack it this year.
Yeah. They really are, and I mean, this is probably the last year with Tee Higgins. Yeah, who knows how much longer Tyler Boyd's got there? So I mean, they're gonna have to replace some guys here pretty soon. Joe Mixon's on his last leg. Like This feels like the year where they have to get it done.
Yeah. I mean, their offense is clearly geared to that. Like, the Orlando Brown signing it's a clear statement. Like, Casey needed a tackle. Casey went and got Orlando Brown. Cincy needed a tackle. They went and got Orlando Brown. Like, I don't know where that leaves. Like, there's some drama right now with Jonah Williams and what's going to happen there. What's going to happen at right tackle? Is Jonah going to be playing right tackle? Is Collins going to stay at right tackle? Is Collins going to be on the
Collins
team?
isn't good.
Hey, he played pretty well after the first 5 weeks last year for them.
Yeah, but I mean,
until he got hurt, I think
he has conditioning issues. He doesn't stay healthy,
but
and
that's a good swing tackle.
Yeah, no, he's an incredible backup, but he's got to take care of his body, which he definitely didn't do when he was in Dallas.
And Jonah Williams isn't exactly a good offensive tackle in this league. Like, he's serviceable, and I don't know, maybe he'd be better in a different scheme, but he's had some issues, and last year wasn't his best season. But again, I think that they have three guys who can start at offensive tackle in this league on a team that can be top 20 starters at their position, and that's good depth. Plus, Akeem Adeniji can play there. You don't want to be starting Akeem Adeniji, but you can. He's not the bottom barrel that some teams have to start at points in the season.
So they lost Master Bates, but they brought in Battle out of Alabama. I like that a lot for that defensive back. But getting into the schedule here, what schedule maker was we're just gonna completely fuck the entire NFC North, or AFC North, all of them have early buys. That's miserable.
It's just that kind of year, man.
But you got to play who you play, and looking at their schedule, I mean, I think it breaks pretty well for them. Indy, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and then you got to play Kansas City at some point. You got to go to Kansas City at some point. That's inevitable, but that's a big time game. Week 18 for them, and then Cleveland week 19. I always like ending the year on a division rival because odds are you're either in or out at that point. Every now and then it's this is for it all. But when you're playing a division rival, I would prefer a division rival be the last week of the season because more times than not, it's already decided by that point. So I think their schedule breaks pretty well, all in all. You play who you play.
I'd say it's fair. I mean, it's a tough schedule. I guess early it's actually it's not that bad early. Tennessee, Arizona, Seattle right before the bye, but then it gets tough after the bye, I'd say.
Kind of tough. I mean, you got San Francisco after the bye, then Buffalo, but you got to play Baltimore twice anyway. You got to play Pittsburgh twice anyway. And then you got Jacksonville late in the season. So it's
I think that's tough.
That's going to be hot. But, Indy, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Cleveland to finish out the schedule. I was I don't know. I feel like outside of the bye week, I feel like the schedule broke for them pretty well.
Yeah. I can see it. I think it's just a tougher schedule in general, but but
you play who you play.
Yeah. Now, can I talk on their defense for a little bit?
Absolutely.
So, their D line, BJ Hill, DJ Reader, I think is one of the most underrated interior combos in the NFL. Those are two absolute incredible hosses up the middle who are just BJ Hill is one of the more underrated players in the league, I think. And DJ Reader he's starting to get his credit. That's why I'm not saying he's one of the more underrated ones anymore, but he's just a really good football player.
And then they bring in Miles Murphy.
Yeah, and then this pass rush, Sam Hubbard he's just a stout football player. He's not going to get the most insane sack numbers for you, but he's going to do his job against the run well, and he's going to get pressure. He's that base end. He can do everything.
You mentioned earlier that you think the Steelers have the best defensive line in the league. This defensive line, I think they don't have the superstar of TJ Watt, but top to bottom, I think they can make every argument for the best defensive line in the league.
Yeah, if they had a Cam Hayward plus a that's the thing. It's Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt, and then it's like they have depth on top.
Well, they have a Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson.
Neither of those guys are Cam Hayward or T.J. Watt.
I don't know. Miles Murphy, though, he's a stud.
So that's the big question mark here. What will Miles Murphy be? If Miles Murphy becomes that good, then you can start having that argument. But like they need someone to become that good first. Yeah. And like I think you could make a case for DJ Reader to be on Cam Hayward's level. I'm not going to buy it, but like I'll let you make the case. I'm not going to cut you off. But like until they have another person that I think can make the case, it's hard to say. And Miles Murphy might be that, but he's not there. Like he needs to prove it.
But let's say Miles Murphy is really, really good, but not great. This is a nasty, nasty, nasty D line.
Oh, this is one of the top probably 10 in the league, if not 5. Like, yeah. I won't disagree with that. I wish they had a little more depth on the interior. Like Zach Carter might be that guy who can provide really good depth. He played a good amount last year, but like he wasn't that successful in it either. So like, I want to see more with him. I think he could be like a differentiating factor there with whether they're top 5 to top 10. Their edge depth is really nice. I do really like their edge.
And I really like I really like their draft too. I mean, Miles Murphy and DJ Turner to battle out of Alabama, picking up a receiver than Brown. I mean, I feel like they kind of killed the draft pretty well for where they were. I mean, I felt like they got value everywhere. Every pick. I mean,
DJ Turner was good value at 60. I was not as high on DJ Turner as a lot of others. I thought there was a lot. I thought there was a lot to iron out in his game. Athleticism's there, but there was. I just felt like I saw.
But they have pretty good. They have pretty good depth at corner right now, so it's like
they do. And then Jordan Battle, I felt very like his tape just felt very vanilla to me. But that might just be an Alabama DB thing.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a lot going on. And so it might feel like there's nothing going on when you're watching it. You don't really know. DB is my worst position. Like safety, especially. I can do corner some. Safety, I really struggle with. So, I mean, history says that Alabama safeties are Alabama safeties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I just felt very bland. Like it was very bland watching his tape, which it could just be a good thing. Charlie Jones, I liked out of Purdue.
He could end up being Minka Fitzpatrick.
Minka was pretty clear.
I don't know. It was just one of those.
But then I think Logan Wilson is one of the best linebackers in football. He covers up so much for that group. Like he just covers so much ground so easily, so smoothly. He's always in the right spot. And Jermaine Pratt just put together a really good year for them last year too. Now at corner, Eli Apple is no longer there. I'm sure everyone's very sad about that. I mean, honestly, he put together some really good games for them. It was just a roller coaster always.
Yeah, the king of memes.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Hilton's a solid player. Cam Taylor-Britt put together a nice rookie year, which like he can probably build on and become even better this year. Hopefully become better than what Eli Apple was. But DJ Turner, I imagine DJ Turner is going to find his way to snaps at some point, whether it be injuries or him just winning the job. Yeah. So I think a lot's going to hinge on him because I saw there were times where I just felt like he was making mistakes, and there were other times where it felt like his athleticism could do anything. So
yeah.
I don't know. The safety room terrifies me, utterly terrifies me. I mean, Master
Daxton Hill wasn't that good last year.
I mean, he was fine, but he wasn't a starter. He only played 4% of the snaps.
Yeah, he was good. He was good filling in on the roles I needed to fill in on, but it's like you put him out there every down, and it's be tough.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
but when you have Jamar Chase, Tee Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Burrow, like you got to lose somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, they lost both veteran starters in their back end, one of which was captain in Jesse Bates, and they lost Von Bell. They
Yeah.
signed Nick Scott, he's fine. I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's up to the caliber either of the two guys that they lost. There's a lot of weight on Daxton Hill's shoulders this year for this defense. He has to fill in some big shoes, and we'll see how he does.
Last year coming out of the draft.
So did I. But we'll see it. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him as a nickel player too, because I know he can play some nickel. I remember that from last year when he came out, and that can add some degrees of variability to this defense that can kind of change it. And this is a defense that you got to remember they want to beat you in coverage, and they want to beat you passing the football on offense. Right?
Yeah.
This is the modern NFL team. They want to win passing, and they want to beat you by stopping you from passing. Like, so those two D linemen up front, BJ Hill and DJ Reader, are so important to that because it lets them play light in the box and lets them do some really interesting things with their coverages. But you can only do interesting thing with your coverages when you have veteran guys who know what they're doing. So like that's where it'll get really interesting on the back end for me, is like, will these guys be able to keep playing more like exotic style coverages, more getting more changing things up at the snap and confusing quarterbacks?
No, I agree. So now that we've gone through the entire division, who's winning this division?
Man. Ravens.
I'm going Bengals. Out, like not including betting odds or anything. Just, I mean, I think the Bengals are. I mean, I just say Joe Burrow is that dude. Maybe he's not, but
I mean, I think he is
that
too.
dude.
I think this defense is going to have some hiccups. And I think it's going to put them in some really tough spots. I think they make the playoffs. And I think it's
the thing
really
about the
close
Bengals.
between the two.
The thing about the Bengals is their defense always shows up when they need to show up. Not historically, the last 5 years. It's like,
how long have they had Jesse Bates and Von Bell?
For a while,
About 5 years.
but it's usually the defensive line that were making the plays. It was the Trey Hendricksons of the world. But yeah, I like the Bengals to win this division. I would probably put my second bet on the Browns off of potential. I think the Steelers are outside looking in, and I'll put the Ravens up there with them. But I'm taking Cincy or Browns.
I'm taking Ravens or Bengals.
I like it.
I think the Ravens have stacked so much wide receiver depth that even if all these guys are disappointments, they'll still be better than what they had last year.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing about the Ravens. I mean,
stay healthy. He got paid. I think he's going to do everything to stay on the field because he's paid now, and I think that's going to make a big difference for them. New OC, I think, is going to make a big difference as well. As much as I love my dude Greg Roman, it's
So looking at this team. Or looking at this division, is there anybody we're sleeping on, or can we? I mean, the Steelers would be the only team, but it's like, who's sleeping on the Steelers? Like, they've been predominantly the excellence of football for the past.
Every team's over under is 8.5 or better. Like, can you sleep on a team whose over under is 8.5 or better?
So I think right now it's still the Texans.
Yeah, I think it's still the Texans. That's still our team until we get to those dirty birds.
All right. Oh, don't make me. Don't make me. But all right, thank y'all so much. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this division and why. Who's going to be? Let us know who your MVP is this year, and don't sleep on the Texans.
Don't do it.
Don't sleep on the Texans. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank y'all so much.